Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, and welcome back. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And y'all know we're here to put you on. We are back tonight, not alone, with two special guests to talk Severance Season 2, Episode 2 by Miss Selvig. Get on out of here, Harmony, Miss Colville, Miss Selvig, whoever you really are. I'm so excited to see who we have in the building tonight. So come on in the room, get ready. We've got a little game here and there. We're gonna mix it up, make this interesting tonight. I'm excited to know though first how Mr. D Movie Man. How are you doing today? It's been a while. We're so glad to have you back in the space. How have you been? How are you? And are you ready to get into it?
First, thank you for having me on. I've been doing pretty well, just making progress, getting this whole YouTube work life situation together, balancing all that, and definitely ready to get into it because the perspective, this episode was really interesting. I wasn't expecting us to go there already.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we did a little flashback, and I'm here for reworking what happened because end of episode 1, I was like, "Huh? Say what
Mhm.
now? What are we going to get that flashback?" And we got it this episode, so I was pleased with that. Last but not least, we have Tyra in the building over at Struggle Reviews TV. My good sis, how are you doing today, and are you ready to dive in it?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm never ready for Severance. I'm not even gonna pretend to be ready for Severance. I just love the fact that you and I both waited so long to watch it and recently got into it to only go like, okay, what the hell's going on? Normally we can piece a couple things together. I didn't think that this show would be full of like this is intentional Easter egg nuance, little detailed modern like those Easter eggy channels. Oh, they bread and butter
Mhm.
because it's easy to watch this and go, oh, nothing happened. Nothing. We didn't move the needle at all. Like, you really have to go. I went back and watched this episode again just
I
so I could.
watched episode 1 and 2 again just to even come up with these slides, girl. Because I said, "What?" I told D. I read a book. I read some articles. I went back and rewatched these episodes. I was like, "Okay, you gonna get something. I'm leaving here with something, Tyra.
I
We
did
leaving."
because I just, in my mind, I thought this was a workplace drama, and it's not.
Girl, I thought it was gonna be a dramatized version of Office Space. I really believed that in my heart. I was like, "Oh." I was like, this is gonna be a cute little piece of work. Yeah, it wasn't that. So what I want to know from you guys, starting out with you, D,
Mhm.
what were your overall thoughts of episode 2?
Personally, I enjoyed it for the same reasons I just mentioned, like kind of getting the uh, kind of seeing everything from the lens of the, I guess, external world, the outie world. I thought that was interesting because I didn't think we were, if we did circle back to the moment where we left off from season 1, I didn't think it was going to be this soon. And I didn't think we would actually see the actual like process of all that happening and kind of like the behind the scenes on that. So from that standpoint, because I love a good, I love a good kind of like flashback, building up, filling in the gaps. So for me, I really thought this episode was interesting.
Okay, and Tyra, I know a little bit, but that was just after the first watch. I don't know your thoughts after the second watch. Have they changed it all?
I mean, there's room for improvement. This show really tests my boundaries as far as all the shows in media and movies that we've consumed and like the way that we used to consume them in the past. I can't say in the past, just watching TV growing up, there was nothing, bothersome about like a slow burn. I think we're kind of used to wanting everything to like unravel immediately and like for them to just keep you hanging on and have really great pacing. And if you want us to come back because y'all want these shows renewed, you're going to have us in the pocket and let us know what's going on at least by episode 4 and 5. No, this is absolutely not that. I say we're taking our time. We're gonna take some years off and come back. Like they are taking a lot of time. I'm here for Patricia. I said it before. I said I'm here for Patricia. I am here for Patricia Arquette.
Ugh.
I'm gonna always be here for Christopher Walken. I'm here for the OGs in the acting of it all. I will say that I walked away with more questions, but that's always a given here. But a little bit more intel on maybe what I feel like this episode was supposed to be about than I did when I watched it the first time.
Okay, okay, and yeah, like I said, I too watched this again. I think this is my third watch. Um, watching this episode. And I mean, I liked some of the aspects that we're dealing with. I like this idea of, am I potentially meeting my future self? On the outside, I liked like the intrigue. Milchick is always going to be that one that kind of does it for me because I'm just so curious about his motivations. And then when we get over there to Harmony, aka Mrs. Selvig, and the voice changes this episode, I was like, girl, what kind of supervillain are you? Like, I want to know her story. I want to know why she's this true believer of Kier. And I mean, she had altars set up last time, and now she's trying to run people off the road. Like, listen, there's just so much more that I want to know. I want to know that. I will say that with Mark, though, I was like, I thought that was going to be par for the course. The conversation with the sister, really trying to convince his Audi, like, no, baby, this is what you said. Like, don't you think it's worth investigating this more? So, I'm after watching it this third time, I see what they're doing. Like, I'm gonna let them work, Tyra. I'm a D movie man. I'm gonna let them work a little bit. Okay, that's my consensus after watching this. But this episode synopsis, of course, the title was Goodbye, Mrs. Selvig. Audi Mark contemplates the meaning of a message. Lumen grapples with the fallout of the overtime contingency, which we all know that was Big Dylan up there, doing his what is it called, y'all? Twister. His Twister version for I don't know how long he was in that position, but he held it down and held
39 minutes. Too
it.
long. They out there pacing themselves. Hurry up and tell somebody something.
Right.
But before we get into this, y'all, and I'm going to get my notepad out, I have a little game for us because ever since we watched season one, I was like, Lumen feels like a cult, damn it. It feels like a cult that these people signed up for. They worship this Kier in the name of Kier. They've got their own set of scriptures. And so I thought it would be fun to have a this or that cult edition. Now, these cults are completely made up, okay? And I'm going to keep track of everyone's score and we're just going to see what type of cult joiner you would be if you were susceptible to it, okay? So, again, this or that cult edition in the chat. I need you guys to chime in as well, but I want to know which cult could rope you in and you have to pick one. There's no opting out. And so I'm going to score all of us so I can keep track of what we had. So this is the first one. A, sign an all encompassing NDA, non disclosure agreement that forbids discussing anything about your personal life forever. Or B, spend 6 hours each weekend watching your beloved founder's old TV commercials on a loop. Cult vibes: A, Temple of Total Secrecy, or B, the Church of Eternal Infomercials. D, I'm going to start with you. Which cult would you choose?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Temple of Total Secrecy for 100, Alex. I am very. It's easy for me because I already keep a lot close to the vest anyway, especially when it comes to this channel and even how I present myself at work and to people I don't know. So for me, it would be very easy to not have to discuss anything. Yes, I know that can potentially derail relationship building, but I can take that over the 6 hour situation because I'm too restless. I'm too, yeah, I know that's not for me. And then not having to talk about myself, I'm actually fine with that.
Okay, okay, I see, I see. And you guys in the chat, keep track of your answers because at the end, I want to know how many, like, if you had more A's or B's. Okay, Tyra, coming to you. Which cult is going to rope you in? Are you signing that NDA, or are you going to watch your founders 6 hours of infomercials? I like a good infomercial.
I mean, I
I
was about to
can't.
say, is 6 hours really that long? Is it really that long for us to set it and forget it? Like, we used to be entranced by like infomercials back in the day anyway, and it just made you like, mommy, can we get that? You always got a resounding no, but it just made you feel like you wanted whatever they were selling. Like, we wouldn't know too much about a George Foreman or none of that if it wasn't for those. Like, me not being able to disclose anything personal ever, like, ever.
Ever.
No, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it. Like, it's one thing, for everybody in the world. Like, it's only a few, dozen people that I maybe want to talk to. And out of those dozens, it's maybe three that I just necessarily need to disclose personal information because they're my partner. So I wouldn't make it. I'm going to go with B and watch them. I mean, with Midnight Love, when they used to try to sell us 12 CDs for a penny, would that count as infomercial, right? I'm going. Miss Cleo, call me now.
Well,
Even
this is
the
all
pickup
about the
no.
founder. This is all about founder. This
Well,
is
we
all
don't
about
know
the founder.
who I'm gonna have my made up founder. My made up founder is gonna be trying to promote midnight love. Get these singles to rock your world. Happy Valentine's Day for only 9 payments of $45.99. I could get the box set. I'm gonna go with B and have my own founder. You didn't specify that it was any kind of particular founder.
No, it's the founder of your choice, madam. It's the founder
Yeah,
of your choice.
yeah,
Vic says, does this have to be consecutive hours? Nah, sis, I just feel like it's got to be 6 hours each weekend. But y'all, that's 6 times 4. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of time out of your life. Um, I run my mouth. I run my mouth, y'all. I don't know. And then what are the terms of this NDA if I breach it? You know what I'm saying? I run my mouth. I like to talk. I'm probably gonna go over there and just have it in the background while I do my chores. Um, yeah. Ugh. That's a tough one though, y'all. Because if it feels like that NDA would be cool, but I don't know. And like I said, you guys keep track of your answers as we go. If you're in the chat, D and Tyra, I got you over here. Let's ease on down this road though. Let's see. I feel like I got okay. There we go. Fetid Moppet. I had to look it up because
uh-huh.
I was like, we see again, we're flashing back. So we know that after episode 1, the gang's all here. Okay. The crew is back together. He's either gotten them people unalived, fired. I don't know if those things are mutually exclusive or what. But something happened to the new crew, and his old crew is back. But we had no clue of what happened. And so as this episode opens up, we see Helly, as her any who's on the outside, and she is confronted by her father, and the first words that her father speaks to her are fetid moppet, right? And according to Michael Scott's go-to dictionary, fetid is defined as having a heavy, offensive smell, while moppet is defined as a child. Essentially, James Egan is calling his daughter a smelly child in wake of her jaw-dropping gala scandal. And my thing with this, and I want to know your opinion, Tyra. I'll start with you first. I thought this was an activation. I was like, this must be the safe word. This must be pineapples, pun intended. I was like, this must be the activation that calls her back. I said, did she go through a different severed experience? Like, can she be word activated to be brought to heal? Is Helly really severed? What did you think about this whole interaction with her dad in this beginning scene or opening scene, rather?
Well, I looked it up as well because I was like, what? What does that mean? And just based on not even the way he said it, but just his face. When we met him in that first episode, he was so loving and affectionate and hugging and it just feels like he's a father who gives recognition based on what you're doing. And maybe this whole commitment and journey of hers is to get gratitude from him. I thought he was just insulting her, like, "Ugh, you smelly child, you messed up. I almost liked you." I almost liked you, and you messed up again. But I didn't think that it was something to turn on or turn off like an activation. But I will say that I think Hilly is down there, and that's not our Hilly. The way Hilly has been
Oh.
acting up until this episode, I thought that in the first, and I was like, she's weird. Hilly, the Hilly that was the innie, she would have got down there and told the truth. This one who lied, this one, how she was gazing and like, what, I kind of enjoyed that little kiss as in any, I'm trying to go down there and give me some of that. I ain't getting none of that up here. I feel like that, she has her own motive for wanting this to work because she maybe wants to impress this father of hers. But I just thought it was an insult and not an activation. But I don't think that that is actively her. I don't know where any Hilly at, but she not down
What did they do with her, D? What did you think? What did you think of Fetid Moppet and her response after hearing it? Like I don't know. It seems like something turned on because that was the awakened any, right? That was there at the gala that gets brought back to the father. So what did you think of this moment, this interaction with her dad? And what do you think Hilly is on? Is she a different type of severed? Is she really severed, or is there another process that's going on with Helly?
Right. So I was on the fence about this one because I could see it as it being an insult in the sense of like you weren't able to control this any, and you let this blow up in front of all these people in the public eye and so on and so forth. But I will say, going back again, I kind of thought that it would be like the complexity of him directly, because the way he looked into her eyes, it was almost like he was looking at something deeper in there. So I could also see him trying to directly address the Helly that we know, the any Helly, and kind of saying like, hey, and then and then like making that clear, where he stands when it comes to his opinion or his general thought of that, the existence of the other Helly, and so on and so forth. And it was really the eyes that made me think. I think the first time I didn't really think about it, but I was like, just the way he looked, I can see. I just felt like it was something deeper that he was saying rather than just directly to the outer Helly.
Yeah, that's what child, I don't know. I need to understand it. They're gonna have to break it down. I know when we get to the end of all of this, we better get some definitive answers. Give me something. So shortly after that, the same night, honey, because we know that Harmony, aka Miss Cobell, aka Mrs. Selvig, was on her way. As soon as she discovered what was going on at Rick Ricken's house, Ricky Ricken, um, she said, "I'm on my way." And so we sit her down, and Helly is on a damage control tour at this point, and so they get down, and like I said, I don't know where she conjured up this voice. I don't know where Harmony found that voice that she was giving in this. Apologize to me now. That's not good enough. I know what I'm going to do. Hold on, slow down 10 speed. Who do you think you are, Harmony, and what's with that voice? D, I'm going to start with you. What did you think of this interaction between them, and what are you thinking about the villainy of Harmony, and just what does she have over their head? Because she walked in there like, I got power and authority. If you don't do what I say, if you don't let me do what I want to do, it's up and it's stuck for you. You should fear me. And Helly was like, baby, we don't fear anybody. What did you think about this interaction?
Um, so yeah, definitely caught me off guard because I didn't see her. Because when they mentioned like, oh, we're gonna do this, and we feel we're gonna offer you this, and how she was just like, yeah, bump all that. You need to apologize. Like I wasn't, I wasn't ready for that at all. And I think it was interesting, when she said like, what this really is the fact that you fear me, and then Helena says, I, fear no one. And I don't know. I feel like when it comes to Miss Cobellwig, as they referred to her, I think that she, when it comes to her perspective of Lumen and the stuff with the shrine and all of that, I feel like there are things she knows. Uh, and some, I mean, I'm sure she knows where the bodies are buried, but I feel like there are some deeper things, since she was in that position of power, that would compel them, because there would be no reason to, in a sense, kowtow to this woman. Like, you could just, I mean, she was already fired, so what would be the point in, oh, we'll bring you back and we'll promote you here and you won't be on that floor anymore. I feel like there's a deeper perspective that they recognize about her, and I think she is weaponizing that and taking control in that sense. Like I said, which is something I really didn't expect.
Yeah, Tyra, what about you? Who do you think you are, Harmony? Who does Harmony think she is? And will she be a danger to Lumen going forward?
I hope so. Like, don't leave. When it said goodbye, I was like, where's she going? I like her. She's interesting. Like, I like this irate. We never know what kind of response we're gonna get from her. And I thought it was so interesting that we well, we knew because we watch enough TV. Like, I think episode 1, 2, we like, she not severed. This happened not severed. But it's like, well, but is she? I'm really in the in between, because just with the personality, we see that a lot with kind of with Hilly back there. Like, everybody just kind of has their any isn't like the complete total opposite of them. There's still traces of who they are. But I think that first season, I thought she was putting on, the accent and the pigtails and the like hiding in plain sight, because I don't want him to even have an inkling that I'm Miss Cobalt from The Office. But I'm like, is she? Is she absolutely unsevered? And why would they leave her out here to be rogue? If you even thought, because they fired her with no problem. But she was already prior to this kind of on her own agenda in acting with Mark and studying and watching and stalking and infiltrating his whole family. And I'm like, why? What is her agenda and her purpose and what does she know? And for her to say that with such confidence, I feel like she knows like for real where the bones are in the yard, like seriously. And she has some dirt, but it's something with Mark, but I'm like she with the investment that she had in Mark and
Sure.
that family to even get to the point that she was exposed and fired, it wasn't so much of just when we met her just about her job and the position. It's like I'm really low key here for Mark and that wife. I want to see where this goes because in some way maybe it's going to benefit me or something. I don't know what she wants, but it wasn't even like, hey, she didn't ask for that apology until they said that we weren't gonna let her back on that same floor. Then it was like, you need to apologize to me and you're not gonna let me back. Like, oh, okay, y'all don't have anything. And the only reason she would have to want to go back to that floor is to try to still keep tabs on Mark. So I think maybe we'll figure out more about her when we know why Mark is so important to her. I've been trying to find something. All I'm seeing is that either it's a romantic connection, which I don't think it's that, or whatever Milchick lied and said that
He
first
said an
episode.
erotic fixation.
I don't think it's that, and it's like, well, maybe she's his. It's a maternal thing, and she's his mother. I'm like,
That's
I
what I
don't.
thought first
Mm.
season. That's what I thought.
There's something like, but I'm like, if it was that, if that is the key, then of course she's not really leaving and going anywhere because she's going to keep tabs on and watch her son, and maybe she's trying to work on the inside. Every time we get more of her, I just feel like maybe she's not the villain that we think she is.
Oh, Romeo, thou art a villain. She's some kind of villain. But I am curious, and we'll get into it in a later slide because she is one of the only, I guess, well, not only, but the most pronounced true believer in Lumen that we've seen. Like as far as her personal devotion outside of
Yeah.
the office, she really has a vested interest in whatever they do. She gonna stick beside him. So I am curious. Some of these theories are wild. I can't wait, but I definitely got maternal vibes more than erotic fixation in season one. All right, guys, back with another one. This or that cult edition. Which cult would rope you in? I'm gonna start with you, Tyra. A. You have to recite the company motto 100 times every morning, complete with upbeat chanting. Okay, not just a regular recitation. We want it on the beat.
Mm.
B, fast for 24 hours every week in honor of the founder's memory. No coffee allowed.
Can I have water?
Yeah, just no coffee. I'm sure you get some water. You have to be able to drink water.
Have a little water. I think because baby, recite the company motto 100 times. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Then I gotta be upbeat with it. What if I don't want to? I'm gonna go with B. I don't think it would be so bad for me to fast for 24 hours, and then I'll be the prep for it already. So that means on that Sunday, we eating. On Monday we rest. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
So, chanting chums collective hungry for enlightenment. D, which are you going with? A or B?
Yeah, I've been on the fasting journey before, in various ways, including food. So yeah, I can definitely do the I can definitely do the 24-hour fast. And then the my bigger issue with A, I mean the 100 times would be annoying, but it's the upbeat chanting. No, I need to be able to be like chill, unbothered, laid back, my face blank. Like I can't, especially not early in the morning. So yeah, just from that standpoint, it would already be B.
Okay, so B. And I guess I will be the odd man out. I'm gonna recite this company motto 100 times every morning, and I can be upbeat. I'm a morning girly, so I don't mind that. But I do like my food. I do like that. See, but I need discipline.
I already knew you was going over there because you the one who put no coffee allowed. I don't even drink coffee. That's your bag. I can have my coffee.
You know I can't have coffee anymore, girl. The way reflux is refluxing, I can't do coffee. No more, no caffeine over here, Bookie. No coffee, no caffeine. Now we officially see Helly on her apology tour. She's making videos, honey. More apologies and more lies. Helly is the mole, and she's also giving orders, but to what end? Because fire them all. Get them out of here. And I'm on my own secret incognito mission. D, I'm going to start with you. I want to know, is Helly being controlled by her father, or is this just the real Audi Helly? Is this who she is? She really the mastermind behind all of this? And to what end is this whole tour? You know, as far as, oh yes, we had we had these moles, and I was under the influence, and I got up here and made these statements. What are you thinking of? Actually, is this going to work for Lumen? And then what do you think it is like? To what end?
I mean, they seem to be pretty determined, so I can see it, whether I want it to happen or not, I can see it potentially happening. But although I do think her father's influence does play a part in all of this, there's something about Helena that seems so self-assured and so dominant and so like forward thinking, mission oriented, like goal oriented, all of that, that I think that a lot of this really is her. And the fact that she even threw herself head first into this experience to begin with, and we see, you know, the pictures and all that, and how she has navigated all of that thus far. I can just see it being something that she specifically herself, there is a goal she has in mind, and there's something she's trying to uncover. And of course there are so many questions that we can't fully understand what that is, but as far as the the influence, or kind of like where she's looking ahead, I just feel like that mainly is her, especially just when I see her body language and her how she reacts even to her environment. I definitely think it's her.
She's so resolute. And I think that's interesting because that's a character of both her Innie and Outie, right?
Mhm.
Her Innie, I mean, she was doing stuff, something every day to get put out that office and put in that break room. To be punished. And on the outside, we see her with that same kind of ferocity in terms of putting forth her mission. And of course, we'll get into the rest of the lies. But what did you think about the interaction with Milchick, Tyra? And, you know, where is this going? What does Helly have up her sleeve, if you could make a guess?
I think she's just down here to make sure things go right this time. I think she has something to prove, and it's like, fine, fine, get somebody else to do it. Fine, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. I can't rely on this any. We already had, all those episodes in season one. Just fine. Let me go ahead and get this done myself. But my issue is she seems so detached, and there's a lack of emotion. It's kind of robotic. I'm like, what's wrong with these people?
Is she
There is
AI?
just such a there is it's Milcheck, it's Harmony. There is something off, obscure about their emotional state, and you don't see that too much with their innies. The innies are they in there. It's a kiki in there. I love me some Annie Mark, Audi Mark, please, sir. And I'm just
Right.
like, what is the it's almost like kind of the opposite. You kind of have some of those same goals and drives and agenda, and that's why I was like, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to continue to try to get out of here as the any Hilly. And meanwhile, Hilly's like, girl, I said you stand. She sends that video once again with the video and the tech of it all. I'm like, who was she talking to when she had the message and was like, things went awry because I was drunk and some medication and a bad mixture, and I'm sorry. I was like, who is she delivering these messages to? It's like she's being apologetic to the higher ups or something. I'm like, girl, I don't. This can't be a message for the public. But I think, as far as Milcheck, they have discussed something together. I don't know what that is, but whatever agenda she has, because clearly she said this episode, yeah, everybody else can go. I need you to get Mark back here.
Mark is
Everybody else
crucial.
can get fired. I need you to make sure Mark returns. And I want to know how divided she will be. Will she ever get, if she's down there with any Mark long enough, will she get attached and start, kind of being indecisive about what her true agenda is? Or is it going to be just 100% mission? Because you're Annie and you're Outie, you're still, Annie Hilly, and Hilly, she love her some Mark. Are you going to really
Oh,
be over
clearly.
there? Because baby, what was the need to run that video back
Oh, girl, we're gonna
several
get to it. I got a whole slide. I got a whole
times?
slide. I got a whole slide. We're gonna get into hell. Cause girl, you ain't forget that. But you forgot everything else. Like, come on, make it make sense for me. Tyra,
You
Milchick
go.
is doing his job, honey. Like the good somebody he is in the show. Okay, he's going out hirings and firings and questioning the people. And I believe he starts with Mark. We see him go see Irving. He makes his rounds. Dylan, you're fired. bad. Bad,
Fire,
bad,
fire.
bad impersonation. But when it comes to Mark, what do you remember? What happened tonight? No, he was talking about the baby. Talking about the baby. Talking about the baby. That's who's still alive. And sister steps in and is like, "Listen, is this a common place to have your employees here? What did she say? Stealing baby milk or something, or nursing?"
Like this fake lactation expert. Get
Yeah,
her out of here.
Yeah.
but I don't know. What do you guys? I want to start with you, Tyra. What do you think of Milchick overall in this season so far? And him being on assignment, does he have any autonomy or any will of his own? Or is he literally owned, for lack of a better word, by Lumen?
I hope he gets some. You know, I love me some Richard Roundtree Jr. However, um, baby, it was too much of season one of Milchick giving minstrel. And I don't want to see that this season. You know, he remind me of Mr. Crockett. Um,
Mhm.
I just really, which I guess lends to the mystery of it because we don't know. I want to know, you know, because we don't see a whole lot of us in this facility. First of all, we don't see us like that. And he's so devoted. He's so devoted. It seems like he has no qualms with anything. I think we got a taste of that the first season. He really wanted to be in that position of leadership. But at the same time, as soon as he is in a position to give orders and try to be like, they always go over his head and sneak it. I'm like, you're not that bright. Like some, because some of the scenarios, I'm like, Milchick, you didn't see that. They go, hey, the elevator's open. He's like, oh God, let me go see it. And all of a sudden they scattering off like the little rascals getting into stuff. And he has to, be apologetic about stuff, just kind of like what we saw now. But I really hope we get something and it's like, just even if it's small, like, oh, this would explain why Milchick is so devoted and why he's in this constant state of whatever you like. I like the mystery of it, but I do want to see him as a brother, kind of have like, this is why I'm doing it, because we know for sure that Harmony has her own agenda. Even when he gets into Helly with Milchick, I have no idea why he is as devoted as he is, and it's mysterious, but it's also kind of, yes, a boss at times, and I don't want to see that.
It's definitely off-putting, for me at least, seeing Milchick in this type of situation, and I'm hoping there's something deeper because as of right now, it definitely gives. I want your validation. I want your approval. Even when we have this thing with his computer screen, and
Mm-hmm.
why does it still say her name? I want my name on it. I want my name on it because that's
Eager,
going to make him be
eager.
somebody.
Because we found out in this episode, like, because he in that moment he had just finished lying to Mark, like, yeah, y'all been in the news and all of this, these freedom riders in the papers for 5 months, and they've been gone, and we cut here. They just got fired a couple days ago. But even then, he's like, yeah, get this heifer name off of the screen. This is my time.
That's the obsession. D, talk to me about Milchick and what do you think his motivation is? Who do you think he is really as a character in this space in this season so far?
Who? Yeah. Milchick is definitely in the devotee role. I think because yeah, I would say like out of all the characters, he's probably the least that we understand. Like as far as his motivations and what he believes or how he views Lumen. I think that there are times where I think yes, along with the devotion, I feel like there is some allegiance with the ideals of Lumen or what they represent that he connects to, and I think obviously doing that reaps rewards, but because we can't see the rewards, it just looks like he's just toiling away and serving the greater picture, the just whatever it is that Lumen represents. So I just think that his motivation is probably one having a sense of control, having a title, having ascending possibly within this company, like seeing what his role in this company could be, but also because we don't know the backstory of fully of his motivation. I think something is driving him, and there are times even with him being devoted that we see there are sparks of him almost like looking outside of that, but we still aren't sure as far as the specifics.
Do you
And then
think that that's
I'll, oh no,
genuine?
go ahead, Ashley.
I was going to say, do you think that that's genuine when he has these moments, even with Mark? He's like, as an unsevered individual, I'll have to live with that. I locked you in a room for this many hours. Do you believe that emotion? And anybody can go. Do you believe that?
I so much of Milchick feels like a constructed facade. So I really don't feel like the majority of it I feel is construct. All of it is kind of like a big illusion. But I feel like I see these moments here and there with his emotion, and maybe more so the anger or certain things where I feel like there are these little pinpricks of the real Milchick kind of poking through, but a lot of it is this
Mhm.
this look, the smile and the plastered kind of look and the composed kind of controlled energy. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Tyra?
once again, how do we know he's not severed? How do we know? We just really never know, because if somebody had complete control, we don't know how far this severance goes. Like when we get into Mark's wife, she seems completely like almost like brainwashed and robotic, almost like Hilly, and that same detachment. And this just feels like how you would want somebody to act instead of it being just a genuine real life person. I just felt so confirmed, and like neither one of these people, as far as Harmony or Milchick, they're not severed. They're the inner workings, and on like, but I'm like, we don't know that. And then I always question dimension with this show. In what time period maybe some of these folks came from? Like, baby, Milchick could have been from them days, and I'm just playing my role accordingly because we fresh off the boat. We don't know what time it is. We just don't know what dimension or what we could be in. But if we're gonna play around with that, then we can play around what person maybe came from what decade. And all the time, nobody here gives like, oh, this is current day, this is
Oh,
the
never.
70s, this is the you don't know, but you do know like what's up with the aesthetic of the show. All these cars, these clothes sometimes it's given 80s, like everything, the computers, everything just looks very old. But I don't know, I'm still not fully committed to the idea that like who says like, as an unsevered person, who says that, who told you to say that, who told you to say that, like why do you feel the need to say that?
I don't know. And that's what makes me think that um I mean, I think there's some sort of time space continuum situation going on, definitely. I also think there's this idea of the self that you are today versus another self. And then we also know that there's this idea of exchanging your consciousness. And I'm like, to what extent do they have the power to transfer a consciousness? You know what I mean? I'm curious. I think cloning, I think it could be AI, child. I don't know. It's any of the above. Forgive all these typos, y'all, but next, we need to investigate because Persephone, that's her name, I believe that's her name, sits down with her brother Mark and is like, "What did your any mean?" And Mark says, "Listen, it doesn't matter. I'm quitting anyway. I'm walking away from the company. I'm not going back. This is too dramatic." And the sister persists. And we knew that this was going to happen as soon as we saw the end of season one, because now he's not going to remember anything. I'm going to have to convince this Audi who is locked into his depression. Even when the sister in this moment, and I thought this was very interesting, that the sister really has an awareness not only of her brother but of her husband, because when they're in the house it's like a whole different situation. Yeah, he was talking about the baby. She knows what the truth is of it, but let me have this private conversation with my brother. And then Mark hits her with, "You don't know what it was like. You didn't have to tell the parents. You didn't have to smell the pillows that still smelled like her." So Mark Audi is still very much in the thralls of this grief, and she's like, "But hold on, what if?" So D, I'm gonna start. D, I'm gonna start with you. I forgot the order, y'all. D, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think of this overarching grief in Mark, and what do you think about the duality that he's playing between his innie and outie? Because his innie, I would kick it with Mark. Mark is a cool guy. Mark is down for his friends. Mark seemed like he liked to have a good time. Outie Mark is just in the dregs. Is he ever going to believe his sister? What do you think of their dynamic in all this?
Yeah, I really like I don't know. I think Devin is such a compelling character, and I still, I mean, I'm sure we're going to circle back around to that. I'm already interested in seeing like when will get back to the dynamic with her meeting the woman who has the kids and how she didn't seem to know her. Like, because I know there's that other side piece, side piece of the story there. But one thing I also recognize, like what you said about Mark, being enjoyable and kind of fun, and then this outer version of himself reflecting all this grief and sadness, and even the environment seems to reflect that as well. Everything is kind of like dark and shadowy and gray and gloomy. And honestly, and maybe, no, I don't think this is a stretch, but it seems like almost like the innies are like their almost like their idealized self. Like the external Helly is controlled, composed. The inner Helly is, wild, aggressive, rebellious, like, in your face, and says what she wants to. Uh, with Mark, the outer reflects all the grief, the sadness, this kind of emotional void. And then the inner Mark is more so of the helper, the kind one, the one who wants to connect and bring the people together. But yeah, so I think it's one of those things where that, I don't know, kind of like that gap between the two. I think that's something that we're going to possibly explore, and I'm wondering if, with the fact that he's being more open about that experience and what that was like, because we only heard but so much of it before. But yeah, I think that's going to lead to like a greater awakening as it connects to this whole story with his wife.
I hope so. That would be my mission for all of these characters, for their outies to become fully realized at some point. I don't know if we'll get that, but hopefully we get it from either one of them. Tyra, what about you? Is Outie Mark going to look further into this? I mean, we saw a piece at the end as he confronts Harmony, but what do you think about this interaction with his sister and that duality in the roles here?
Yeah, I like the comment by Real Enigmas there because I caught that. And I'm good for forgetting somebody's name. I was like, has her name been Persephone this whole time? Let me. I
That's what
didn't.
I said. I was like,
I
it
wrote
didn't
so
sound
because
like
I
it was
heard him
her name,
call it.
but
I
I
was like,
get
oh no, it's still the name. But I saw that Persephone brought maybe you ruined it. You brought damnation. You blew stuff up. So it made me feel like with this show being all about the little details that she's not going to drop this. It just feels like Mark wants to stay willfully ignorant at this point because it hurts too much to revisit the death. And what gets me is what was the extent of his wife passing, because Mark states it like I physically watched her die, like in my arms, and we like physically see her, mind, but we see her. So it's like, did it what like what? I just need a flashback so bad because he's acting like like I watched her die, and she burnt like she was burnt up, right? The car, correct? Was she Ashley?
I don't know the nature of that lady death. You know, it took me a while to get this one.
I thought she like it was something with some
They
type
know
of
in the
accident
comments.
or something.
Everybody know in the comments. They
Yeah,
are
let me
aficionados.
know in the comments about her death, but it just seems like it's something that he physically watched, but we see her, in the flesh. But with his journey and everything that he saw, the phone call, the awakening, and the I can never remember her name, but the one who's revolting on all things, taking out those implants, and even with his friend, was it Paul, Pat, whatever that man name was, child. It didn't work. The man who was severed, who got unsevered and
Mhm.
got
Oh,
that
okay,
implant
yeah.
removed. If you've seen all of that, and then you find out that Patricia's been living next door to you and being this double agent all the way to the point of infiltrating the family, holding the baby, it's nothing that you're going to be able to tell me that I'm not like, oh, we should invest. I feel like he has enough proof. I feel like he just doesn't want to. So I think it's going to take a little bit more for him to really just come out of this cocoon of his and confront what happened to her. Let's see. I think Lumen faked her death. Identify her body was, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I knew it was something with the car and her being burnt. He's acting like he saw her just physically. I'm like, what all did you see? But he's internalizing it so much. I just I think it's going to take a little bit more for him to awaken. And it wasn't even just the thought of the wife or anything. The only thing that seemed to pique his interest was when Milchick said that he found love down there. He's like, oh, like, and there could be the possibility of some crossover and some of that bleeding into his little bleak reality. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I can go back, go and give me that pineapple. I was like, well, hopefully it's that, but I think he's going to be at odds with the sister because I don't think she's going to drop anything. I just hope that she makes it out of the season because we already know Lumen is not above knocking off a body.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. But thank you guys so much for being here. Shout out to the 54 people who are in the building to talk Severance, season 2, episode 2. Again, we're back to this or that cult edition. We're making our way downtown, walking fast, okay? So, I want to know from you, Tyra. A, mandatory group hugging sessions at the start of every workday, 10 hugs minimum. Okay, and answer in the chat as well. Or B, mandatory one on one confessionals with the CEO every Friday to reveal your innermost secrets.
A. We're gonna go with A.
That's real
It's
quick
not,
work.
it's not even a quick girl. It's a real quick work. Come on, break it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and we're done. Matter of fact, we can do a little Martin situation and give me love, and everybody just walk off. Everybody like, no, we will not be going with B in any type of circumstance.
D, I want to know from you. What say you, D?
Yeah, I already said I ain't telling nobody my business. I am a mystery. Okay, I'm an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Like, okay, so yeah, and because I'm also a hugger, yeah, so A will work for me. Now
Okay.
it depends on some of the folks I would have to hug, but even still, I can get past it. The physicality, I sometimes I need that. That I'm not necessarily a physical touch person when it comes to love languages, but whenever I see friends, whenever I you know meet some of the folks I know on here and so on and so forth, I love like yes, so yeah, I can definitely do the hugs.
Okay, so we're all A, the cozy commune, love bombing central. We're gonna go and we're gonna stay over there, and I'm keeping track of everyone's answers, and it's interesting. It's interesting so far. But easing on down the road, ho, is you cool? Because Helly, how many times are you gonna watch that tape? It was a little bit voyeuristic. I mean, I know it was her and him. It was a little unhinged. It was a little stalkerish. It was a little bit like I want to see what that be like even more, and I want to do it again and again and again. But not just that, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna lie to your face. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna lie to your face. Yeah, no, I was at home. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't get to tell anybody anything. And I'm just like, Lord. Or next, and we're gonna be bobbing for pineapples next. Tyra, I'm gonna start with you. Ho, is you cool? How many times do you need to watch this tape? And again, other lies. What is this? I think this is the erotic fixation with Mark.
um, a lot of Haley just seems very love deprived. Clearly, with that father, and who knows about their family lineage and just her emotional state, it's always lacking. This is piquing interest. She's like, I ain't never had that. I'm trying to see what that be like. Like, I just want to know what's going to be awakened first outside of her little sexual chi. Because I want to know if it's going to give her that levity to go, am I really doing the right thing? Like, is any Mark gonna awaken something in Audi Hilly to make her change the way, her perception is about life and what her agenda really is? Or will he figure out beforehand, like, I don't think this is Hilly. Like, because we haven't really had any time with them, but the little time that we do see, you can tell that she's not completely familiar with the space like Hilly was. I think she sat down at that computer and she was like, how do I cut this thing on for a little bit, even though it was subtle, child. With this, I've been watching these episodes multiple times. Multiple times. But I think she's going to be fighting in an inner battle with herself. But I will say I will look forward to us getting. I like Annie Hilly. She grew on me because at first I was like, girl, look, you're not going home, okay? The people told you to sit down, and it got to the point that it was like, Lord. But we build something with her last season, so I do want to see her, but I don't think we are. I think we're going to start to see peaks of that Innie becoming more outy as far as this outy Haley, and we're going to have to deal with that, and she's going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, and I think this is the start to dissension in the ranks. Like, for what it's worth, right? These four people, um, had a combined goal, right? And they worked together to achieve whatever, even though some people didn't do anything with it. Irving, I just, I'm interested, and I'm here for at least the change in dynamic in the workplace, because now we potentially are going to have two people who are working against the common goal. D, how much more is Helly going to watch this tape, and what do you think of the potentially changing dynamic in the group? Because it's not going to take Mark long to know this is not the same Hilly that he was kissing in front of the elevator.
Mm.
Yeah. So, well, one, it's going to be multiple times. Like it's going to be like the whole night, like the whole night through. It's because it's very single white female that we're giving, and we obviously are looking at the other Annie Helly, and it's just like, well, hold up, like your life and my life. Okay, we need to figure out how to enmesh these two. And if you've seen single white female, you know how that goes. So
With the red
it is
hair and
definitely
all.
giving. You said what?
With the red hair and all. Listen.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. So no, she is definitely fixated. So it's that thing is gonna stay on repeat for a minute. As far as Mark, yeah, it's like one of those things where, and I think what's also interesting is that we don't even know the amount of time. Well, so there's their work shift time, but I'm saying like in a linear sense, or maybe even non-linear sense of time, like how long are they actually in there? So their bond and how well they know each other, it could be like the equivalent of like years, and that's how
Mhm.
well they know each other. And when you know someone that well, then you're going to notice little things that are off or don't click correctly, and it's just going to be like these small little things. I don't know if it'll be as obvious as the whole oh, thanks, Mrs. Cobell, like the whole thing in the finale, but it's going to be something that she's going to do and it's going to slip up and it's going to be like, and I think, I don't, I'm not sure I know how Mark is going to deal with that because he's built a rapport with the other Helly. And so to have this stranger suddenly here, I don't know if he's going to respond really well to that.
I don't either, because I don't think that you can hide that, like the ferocity that she had, like that undying spirit. Like, I'm gonna get free from here. Like she was the spearhead of a lot of these missions, because they wasn't moving without this heifer before. So I'm just interested on how she's gonna play this. If anyone's gonna be cool on it, but she's not the only one. I felt being pulled to the dark side, which hell, she is the dark side. But another person is coming over. So we have Dylan versus Dylan. I was like, this is Kramer versus Kramer, Dylan versus Dylan, severed discrimination. And then not only that, but I'm gonna build a little family wing, honey, and you can have your kids here, but don't tell nobody else. Dylan is on a slippery slope, but after he gets fired, he goes on an interview with the door company. And I was like, okay, so he's looking at himself clearly. This is his future self or a version of himself that maybe he could have been in another reality, which again screws up my timeline, because are we in this reality? Does time stop inside of Lumen and resumes on the outside? I don't know, but this is that man.
Right.
This mirrored picture. I'm looking into myself. I'm seeing myself. And then it has me asking these questions. D, like, do I hate myself? Am I discriminating against my own self? Like, I mean, it begs some kind of deeper questions, right? Like, I have no respect for you. Like, you severed yourself. There's nothing you could do for me. Like, there's nothing you could ever do for this company. I'm interested in this. This was like the thing that kind of grabbed me this episode, because I'm wondering if any other realities or eventualities will see Audis have this situation. D, I'll start with you. What did you think of this? And Dylan turning on the crew. I mean, is that family little family spot going to be the thing that switches it?
Oh, I think definitely. I still remember when he yelled out at Milchick, I want to know when my son was born, and kind of that deeper desire to know like what that world or what that life is like. Because, and then even like the moments, I think it was that moment with the override in the closet, and all of a sudden his son is there. So yeah, I definitely think that desire to know what that is and to like embrace that part of himself that he obviously can in the day to day. I think that is definitely going to undermine his goal with everyone else, like as a unit, I definitely think it's going to start to erode that. Which I understand, but that probably will, as far as the, like I said, the whole group is going to make things fractured. As far as this, yeah, this threw me because I was just like, I saw it and I was just like, and at first I thought I was just like, this isn't a coincidence, is it? And then so then when I saw that, I was like, oh no, this is all very, very intentional. So yeah, I thought it was interesting because I remember we saw like the whole severance thing being a hot button issue on the news and newspaper when I think Mark was on the date, and then you had the folks out there. I think they were like picketing or talking about like, hey, this is why severance is such and such. So I think it's interesting to now see beyond just it being a hot button issue, seeing it on a personal level, and know that people have their own perspective of how this works and doesn't work. And I'm also wonder like what really makes you what's driving the anger in the response? Like,
Mhm.
is it the fact that you feel like it's not fair? You shouldn't be able to do that, so you can't do anything for me? Or is it, something else? So that was the other piece I thought was interesting. Like, what is it about severance from someone who is, I'm guessing, unsevered that you respond so negatively to?
And I think the vibes I got was that you took the shortcut. You took like the short way out. Like we all are living with whatever our traumas are, and you decided to have this procedure. But Tyra, is this himself talking to himself? Is his self judging himself? Like, what did you
No.
think about this? And what do you think about him in the group now with this whole family wing? Is it going to be a problem going forward?
Dylan, I think everything is reversed here. Like I said, with Harmony, who we may think are the villains. The like, it's my at this point, I feel like Dylan is a mole. Dylan is a mole. I feel like everything we ever saw with Dylan was a simulation. Like, and it's like, well, we're gonna put you. I don't care. Because why are y'all doing this? Like, we're gonna put you in certain simulations to make you appear to have legitimacy within the group, and that you really want to be a ride for freedom. And we're in the group; we're all in this together to really have you be in there to not only kind of be that voice of reason, but also give us intel. I feel this was crazy. I was like, "This is that Dylan?" I was like, "Is that Dylan's relative?" I was like, "What is happening here?" This just felt like something internal. Like, okay, we hit a button, he's fired, naturally he should go and find another job. Like, why can't we see his wife?
Right.
Why do we hear her on the phone? It's been a little off cure for me ever since the little boy just ran in the closet and Milchick was like, I told you to go watch TV, stand there. I was like, what?
Mhm.
This doesn't feel real. And that's kind of like to maybe have breadcrumb dropped for the any Dylan who may just be any overall and not even an actual person. I don't know. To be like, hey, just to give Milchick some leverage to go, you have a family, you have a son, you have like, I don't know. Everything just seems planted at this point. Even this severed discrimination, it didn't feel like it did when Mark faced it last season on the street. It just kind of felt like internally, like, how dare you? You resulted to being severed. Like, you don't, because there was so much in common. Like, oh, so what kind of door? Like an oak door? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, we're on
Yeah.
it. I'm feeling you. As soon as he said he was severed, it was like, yeah, no, the same build, like the glasses, like
The
this was
position, the
this was
posturing.
this was internal, and we can't have. I can't even say real life because what's real life here? We don't even know.
True.
I don't feel like Dylan is who we think he is. I feel like this was all like a mole type situation in every sequence that we have seen with Dylan, even to keep him holding on at the aspect of I want to see my children was all something implanted by the higher ups, the waffle parties, all this. Something is a lie. Something is a lie, and I just don't know what it is. But I thought this was so strange. I was like, please don't present me with these things to confuse me any further. Oh, I don't think he is who we think he is.
Who
Something's
he
wrong.
think, who he
I
think
don't
he
know.
is. Meanwhile, Irvin's on the damn run and Bert is following him looking real stressed. Now I'm saying which is the stalker? Because well, the last thing I heard, the last thing I saw, and the last thing I checked, Irvin was out that side that man's house with his lover. Okay. He was out there banging on the door, doing the most. And I'm thinking, did he blow up Bert's spot? Is that why Bert's mad? Or I mean, did Bert really get retired? Or did he just get another mission assigned him? I'm beginning to think that each of our innies Well, we knew last season there was somebody watching Mark. What if Bert was responsible for watching Irving? I'm going to start with you, Tyra. What did you think about Bert following? What do you think this is about?
There has to be some connection on the outside. I would like to think that they had a little, yang yang around the house outside. And they are, familiar with each other, because when he opened that map last season, Bert's name was already on it. When the Audi got in there, it was, and he had that whole trunk, and it looks like he's on the outside investigating Lumen. So maybe he signed up to be severed to get further intel, or maybe he's connected to, actually, what's that lady name?
Harmony?
No, the lady who's part of the whole revolt, and she's taking these ships out.
Helly? Oh, no, Ragabi.
Yeah, girl, I can't remember that to say.
Ragabi. And we miss
Maybe
Ragabi.
he's
Where's Ragabi? Bring the Ragabi back.
maybe he's connected in some way to Ragabi, because like D was saying, the Innie and the Audis, they're all like devoted in reflections of themselves. So as devoted as Irving was on the inside, especially in the beginning,
True.
to the cult of it all, like, we didn't expect him to flip. Like, he loved it. Bring me the melon and do everything by the book. That's not in the rule book. I think he's equally devoted to breaking down Lumen, all the way to the point of infiltrating and willing to do an implant. As far as Bert watching him, like, something was always up with Bert, even with Dylan, which was always like, what, Dylan made an overnight switch to, like, Bert is an op, stay away from him, to, what, just go be with your love, just do what you got to do, go on in there. It's that I feel like I feel like Bert has to be an op also, because why would his name be on there for him to investigate him? He has to. I'm really honestly confused, y'all. But I think Bert is up to no good. Did you see how Christopher Walken was looking sitting in that
Yes,
car?
in that
I
car,
wouldn't.
looking like
I
Christopher Walken
wouldn't.
be looking.
Yeah, I would be looking like that if this was just like, oh, this random whatever just showed up to my door, and by the time I opened it, because we don't even know what he said. And when Milchick asked him, he lied and said, like, I've been, I don't know. Clearly, you had to have woken up on Bert's porch. Like, why did you lie?
Hmm.
I can't wait to see. But they need to give me something, please.
I'm trying to see what really went down between Irvin and Bert because it's still up in the air. Did the peen? Never mind. I'm being good. D, talk to me about Bert and Irving. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be good.
Well, first, let me say that yes, that look that Bert was given was very chilling, and it did not give warm fuzzies, right? Like I was not getting any warmth from that at all. So I'm just like, okay, what's really going on here? So I'm wondering, like, if on the outside, in some way, I don't know. I feel like their relationship could be more contentious, in a sense. Like, well, and that could be if I'm going to continue with my theory of the idealized situation, then the love story, which would be idealized inside, could be like a enemies type situation. Like for whatever
Oh,
reason, there's
okay.
something where it's like, oh no, we got beef, we got problems. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
situation. So actually, I could really see that, especially like the more I think about it. And I'm also wondering, and this is another thing that I'm guessing they're going to say, but we didn't see like what happened right after the knock, or even what the response was to the knock, or any of that.
mm,
Um, so yeah, I just think their relationship is. I think there's a parallel situation, and I think it's possible. The only other thing I can think is that it's possible that Bert, uh, or even the any Bert, if there isn't any Bert, that he could have been implanted there uh, for some other reason we're not clear on yet. And
mm.
that may be why Bert is also aware of certain things here.
I think
Yeah.
he was watching Earth and like, hey, go on out there and get chummy with this guy. He likes him, an old Christopher Walken looking man. You need intel. He that he might be on the wrong side.
He likes him or something. I don't know. And when they had Irving's little claymation spinning around talking about let's burn it down, I'm just so that's creativity. That's creativity. Okay, easing on down the road. We're almost there. This or that cult edition. Which cult could rope you in? A, starting with you, D, wearing matching pastel jumpsuits embroidered with motivational quotes every single day. Okay. Or wearing hooded black robes bearing mysterious symbols whenever you enter the house. A, rainbow jumpsuit fellowship. Or B, night cloaks of corporate unity.
Oh,
Which which are you
Night
going?
cloaks of corporate unity.
uh, oh man. Okay. Uh, that I don't know why this seems to be harder than the last ones we've done. Um, let's see. Um, could I? You know, I if I am emotionally or mentally like not 100%, then maybe I need an outlet to help lift me up. So, believe it or not, I would actually go with the matching pastel
Okay.
jumpsuit with the motivational quotes. So I can get a pick me up, really pay attention, and give myself like a hey, this is who you are. You was kind, you was smart, you was important. Let's go.
You is
Mm.
good. You is kind. You is important. So, Tyra, is it pastel jumpsuits or are you wearing the black hoodie?
When
Blacked
did
out like the omen.
anything good ever come from wearing night cloaks? I'm not going over there. And then you some mysterious symbols.
Hmm.
I rather know what we're getting into for face value, even though it's happy quotes and it's motivational. At least it's outward facing. These mysterious night cloaks and symbols that we don't know. And then you talking about when you enter the office of what? That's too close to the gates of hell. Yeah, I'm gonna go with A.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and you already know. I sound B sounds like Dementors. I'm not going over there with the witchcraft and wizardry. I will stay in my bright pinks and yellows and blue pastels, especially if I get a new jumpsuit every single day. And I like a good motivational quote. So I mean, I'm going over there. Not everybody here with the B, TP with the B, real enigmas with the B, Jasmine with the B. Listen, I'm not going to be a Dementor. I'm not. I refuse guarding Azkaban with them long cloaks on. I'm not doing it. Um, this is what I want to know from you, Tyra. What in the hell is Cold Harbor? The only thing that we know at this point is that Mark is the only one who can complete it, and we know it's a program that Gemma is in. Gemma's in the Cold Harbor, whatever the Cold Harbor is, and it's got something to do with the scary numbers. Break it down for me, or at least what your theory or thoughts are about it.
Oh, please, why would you ask? I
Because
don't know.
what?
I have no clue. Like literally, these from the town, the little innuendo stuff. It just feels like a doomsday. Even lumen. I read that lumen means light. It's like the beginning of something. So it's almost like the creation, like an Adam and Eve type situation, almost if you want to get like biblical with it, and it would make sense as to why he's so important and why he's the only person who can complete whatever.
Our
It just,
Adam.
yeah,
He's Helly,
he's
our Eve.
yeah, and that's what it gives to me. Even if it's in the demented lumen way, but their slogan is like the start of the creation, or what is their slogan? It's
I know they won't stop until everybody is one of them. It's supposed to be, a whole new world,
it's
right?
something like New World Order type of
Mhm.
situation, or New Dimension Order. I don't know. It just gives that. So I think it's like a doomsday type situation, or the creation or the start of whatever they've been working towards. Why is it Mark? I don't know, but what do we actually know? But what it is exactly, girl, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely experiment. It's definitely some kind of black ops situation in my mind. But D, why do they need Mark to complete it? And what do you think? What do you think it's all about? What do you think Cold Harbor is all about?
Well, one, it could be like a Jordan Peele us situation where we're creating doppelgangers to take over the earth, possibly hands across America. Who knows? But it also could be something where they're doing experiments within the mind and what I don't know, like I don't know what the bigger picture could be, but I do know if you have control over people's minds, or you can get them to do what you want to do, or find a way, because even the process of having like that pill inside your head, like how do you know it's more it how do you know it's not just how do you know there's not more than just severance that's going on? Who's to say you can't do this, that, or the other with that pill inside your head? So I think it kind of ties into the science behind the severance pill, um, and what Lumen, or potentially other companies, who knows? But definitely what Lumen is trying to do, or what else they can do, how to expand possibly, and take Severance to the next level, especially as we see some of that spilling into reality anyway.
Yeah,
Is this all an
I like it.
experiment? Because everything about this, even from the beginning, it gives me simulation. Is this all an experiment? Like all of these people in a lab, like are they? Is there a bigger thing? Like is this? Nothing about like I could get into the gist of it all if everything else about the world didn't seem off and unreal, and we get to questioning the decade and the dimension if we are in one. I, is this all like a simulation? It's making me think about From, and I don't want to go over there because you know they make my brain hurt.
One hallway looks like another hallway. One stairwell looks like another stairwell. If you got that reference, drop it in the chat because that's so obscure and random. But the gang's all here. The gang is all here reporting to Miss Huang. And again, this is not the same gang that did their little contingency situation. These are new people. And so I want to know from you, Tyra, what do you think this dynamic is going to look like going forward with the four of them? This is what Mark wanted. Mark said, I'm not doing anything until I get my team back. Of course, not knowing that these people were going to be forever altered and changed. I don't even think Irving is all the way in like he was. Is this going to be the same vibe, or are we going to have to work to get there? Or are we never going to get back to the place that we were before?
It's going to take work. I think they'll have to meet each other where they are now because everybody's lying. Well, outside of Mark, everybody's lying. Everybody kind of has their own agenda, and you see that Dylan, that little promise of family. Helly is real Hilly, and Irvin's like, my man don't want me no more, and he just he ready to just go fly off the deep end. So I think it'll take some work to kind of recapture their passion and why they wanted to be unsevered in the first place, and we'll maybe be dealing with Hilly just like trying to appear. I'm hoping he picks up on it, like because they love to pick and choose with this show when Mark is like actively smart and dumb. I'm like, look here, don't play, because they can be really brilliant in one sense, and then in the next scene when they go up the elevator and come down, it's just like, huh, we're back, and it's just I'm like, what you were really brilliant 3 episodes ago. I know I want to see this little girl again. I should hope that we didn't just fire the other team and have those really great actors as like cameos or something. Like, what are they doing? I want to know where the other team is if they're not here, and I want to know who this young lady is because I told you I feel like they took an implant out of one of them little goats and they put it in her. I think all the little all them little goats are just old memories of the founding fathers or something, and, and their memories are trying to live on, and they're trying to implant their younger thoughts and aesthetics and selves and into younger beings, and this is all maybe just a reincarnation type situation, but we want things in legacy and lineage and just the thought of whatever Lumen represents to live on, and these founders whatever consciousness has we're in them we still don't know what them baby ghosts was doing, but he said they wasn't ready yet. I feel like they're ready now, and one of them is in this little girl because we still don't know who she is and why
You
she's
know that's
here.
Mark's child. You know that's Mark and Gemma's baby. You know that is their
I
child.
thought about it, but I'm like, we don't.
You
We
know that's what
wouldn't
it
we
is.
like? Wouldn't we have like known? Like she hasn't been gone that long. This little girl is at
Mhm.
least like
It don't
12,
matter. We don't know
13.
how long they've been in there for real. And I know that
Oh,
Mark has more bags under his eyes than he did when we left. I
you
also
know what?
know that she said, I'm not one of your little friends. I'm not one of your little friends.
That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
here to
saying.
play
She's
no games
old.
with you.
She's old.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
It's
she
just an
she is.
older
She's
consciousness. That's one of them founding folks. It's got to be one of them baby
mhm.
goats.
D, talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me about this group dynamic. We already know Dylan done sold his soul for a break room for the family. We know that this is not the Helly that we know. We come to. I never liked Helly. I can't even say I've come to love or like. But in Irving, yeah. What you think? What's going on with this group? Will they come together again under a united purpose and cause?
I think they will, but it's not. I feel like it's not going to be for a minute because they've all been altered and they've been changed by that experience, especially getting into the outside world, so to speak. And and because of what has happened, how each of them have been affected in the way that you've mentioned, with not being the real Ellie, the Dylan and the whole family situation, Irving's motivation kind of being like not really there. I think that it's going to take like a lot of effort and a lot of them. It's going to take. They're going to have to just overcome some obstacles. I'll just say, because I don't think it's going to click as easily as it did last time. It's going to seem like it's easy, or might seem like it's possible, but there are going to be these cracks in the foundation that's going to fracture the dynamic, and they're going to find a way to navigate past that. I also like am wondering if I'm just wondering, like, at what point they're going to make it to those. I don't know. Well, I can only describe it as like the back rooms aspect of the company, where everything is like kind of dark, and it seems to go into this endless space, and there are these other, like, I don't, and that's another thing. I'm just like, these aspects of the floor, like what else is there and why? And like why is that dark? Why are the, as was said, why were the goats and this other guy there? Like what is out there as well? So I think that may at some point give them a common purpose as far as figuring out like what's beyond just these areas that we're used to.
Yeah, child. Because the way I would never find my office, D, unless it was color
What
coded,
was
I would
with
never find it.
the Illuminati waffle party? When we gonna go back there? We have so many
Mm,
unanswered questions.
we're not doing it. This is the last one, you guys, and this will determine what type of cult you that would rope you in. And I'm going to start with you, D. A. Endure a never-ending dance party in a neon lit break room, complete with disco ball and DJ. Anytime morale dips, and you get to bob for pineapples. I'm just going to add that in there because that's one of the prizes, one of the new prizes. Or B, take a day long vow of silence every quarter during the annual Vision Quest, journaling your regrets in company issued notebooks. So, are you going to be A, a disciple dancer, or B, mums the word movement?
So the issue is never ending. That is a huge red flag for me. So I'm gonna have to, because I can dance, I can cut a rug right quick, but no, I'm gonna have to go with B because I love moving in silence, and I'm good at writing, and I can definitely express my regrets about a job. So definitely B.
Tyra, what say you?
I really want to go to the dance party. I really want to go to the dance
Well, it
party.
says
Like
anytime morale dip. So it's not, well, it does
it
say
says
never
never. This
ending.
is never ending on it. Like
Well, it's
it's
got
only
to
fun
end because
until
this is
it's
the last.
not anymore. But I want to go. Sounds more alluring than the Vision Quest and the annual journal entries. Uh, but that's not the plausible decision. I'm gonna go with B. Regrettably, go with B.
You're gonna go with B. Okay, okay,
My spirit
okay.
wants to go to that waffle party though.
I never want to go to a waffle party. I don't want to go to the waffle party. And we'll break down. You guys make sure you determine whether you had more A's or B's in the final slide. We will talk about that. But let's get here. The ending scene, which I was like, girl, what the hell? You know that's your child. You know that's your son. How dare you? A true believer and a lunatic. I love Patricia Arquette, and I think she's doing her big one in this role. She's going to deliver every single time, except that weird voice. I really hated that. I didn't know what that was. I was like, did she sound like that all of season one? And I just missed it.
Yeah, yeah.
But girl, are you going to run Mark over? He's like, hey, what's going on? You were over my sister's house. What happened? And I was like, okay, Mark, yeah, got some bass in your voice. Like I liked it in him. But she said, if you don't get out from in front of this car, I'm going to scream and holler first, which I thought was very odd. That explosion that she had in the car all by herself before she kicked it into overdrive. did a little bit of something to me. But yeah, she runs him off the road. He jumps back really quick. Good cat like reflexes, Mark. And then she was on her way. I want to know how she got here. I want to know who this woman is and what her motivations are. I want to know why she had that shrine and she was bound down to Kier. I want to know what they did for her. Does she seem indebted to them? Or is this something deeper? Is this something she was raised with? You know, because she gives I've been this way my whole life, or they saved my life and I owe something to them. I'm going to start with you, D, and wrap up with you, Tyra.
Mm.
Yes. Well, I mean, we already know that Miss Cobellwig is all kinds of cuckoo. So, I mean, that's a given. But I do think that there has to be some kind of incentive, or there has to be something that explains the that level of devotion, which can also include, Milchick. But and I like, yeah, I want to know more about how one gets to the point where they build their entire life around a company like this and devote their entire lives to a company like this. And yeah, so like I think there is an aspect of her that believes in all of this and believes that Lumen is doing the greater good in some way. But I also think that Mark is kind of I feel like Mark might represent some deeper feelings that she's suppressing, and whatever this kind of cold hard shell that she's built. I think Mark might be cracking that, and I think that might have been where the scream came from. It's like there's something deeper and more internal that's like cracking the facade, so to speak.
Yeah, because it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? What is this all about? And she's like, you always were easily tempted or easily swayed. Tyra, what did you think about that kind of last statement that she says to him before she tries to run him over? And what do you think this true believer devotion comes from with Harmony?
For how important Mark is supposed to be, Lumen has been watching him a long time. They probably were watching him before he ever decided to get severed. It was probably like, oh, we were going to just wait for him to come to us. Like, there's clearly an agenda in a place for whatever he's going to be used for. This doomsday experimental whatever Adam and Eve sequence when we're going to hit all the buttons at the same time. I don't know, but I feel like he's been watched for a while, and like Dee said, there's some fight. I have no faith in her being connected to him erotically or being his mother. I just think he's a reminder of something, kind of like that spirit she had when she was watching stuff play out instead of just pouncing. You have Milchick, like, shouldn't I go and put a stop to this? Shouldn't we go and tell the higher ups what's going on and communicate? It's just like, no, just wait. Let me see if he remembers his wife. Let's see if they remember each other. Like, I think she has this devotion, but there's a part of her because we have the cure and all of that. But what is the like? It looks like a breathing apparatus. I don't know. It's a hospital band. Some things there. Like what are all of those things? We still have no connection to that. But I feel like she's partly like clearly a devoted believer, but there's a part of her who wants to kind of rage against the machine and just like Mark come out of this.
Mhm.
I just the villainy is just it don't villain for me 100%.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
Because if
still
it
don't.
was, she would be following this cult, like she would be following it to a T. For you to be that devoted to where you have a shrine and you're flipping and you're that scream that she let out, there should be nothing that she wouldn't do for them. All the way down to, like I said, I was like, I can't wait. I told you I was like, I can't wait until she gets back into the good graces and gets back into this company. I know she's gonna pounce at the opportunity, and she got it, and she said no because I couldn't be on the floor with Mark.
Lord have mercy. Maybe you're right. I do like the idea that he could be representative of something that she lost. Or hell, Mark might not even be really here. Mark might his consciousness might be inserted in that man. He might not even be who we think he is. Final, mostly A's. So D and myself had mostly A's. So if you're in the chat and you replied mostly A's, easily swayed by outward displays of group togetherness, hugging, dancing, uniform pastel jumpsuits. They fit right in a loud, love bombing, hyper social organization. And for Tyra, mostly bees, they have a penchant, okay, for aesthetic or secretive rituals, fasting, bonfires, vows of silence. They gravitate toward intense, controlled environments that emphasize self denial or hush hush confession.
Well, dang, why I gotta be over there with the occult? That's not the happy cult. Why I gotta be in the bonfire?
Oh my
Lord, that's
gosh.
fine. I thought
Think.
I was over there with the happy raps. We was listening to Kid and Play in our magic jumpsuits. It's cool.
Okay, guys, predictions for episode 3. Do we have any? Are we done with these people? Are we tied? Is we tied, boss? I'm gonna start with you, Tyra. Any predictions for episode 3?
Girl, none at all. There's no predictions to be had. I'm predicting that hopefully Mark has an awakening because he was so easily swayed. It's like, oh, there's okay, I'll go back. Hand me that pineapple. I'm hoping that he goes in still kind of guarded, and we get it. I want to get any Mark. You know, who's a fan of Audi Mark? Nobody likes Audi Mark. We want any Mark, and I want any Mark on that mission of that revelation. Like, this is not Hilly. This is not Hilly, because she's gonna be trying to push it, and all of a sudden we just wanted to break out, and then she comes back. I'm gonna stay because I want to help you find your wife, even though I have a personal interest in you, and I was, tonguing you down like 30 minutes ago before I got on the elevator. That doesn't make any sense. So I want to see that. I want some answers, but I know we're not gonna get that. I want to see more of Dylan and Irving on the outside. I want to see those connections. I want to see, but I think they're going to save stuff, to the ultimate episodes and to the ending and the finale and whatnot. But I'll settle for just hopefully an awakening as far as Mark going, even if it's not confirmation. Just the thought of him maybe like, is this Hilly? I don't feel like this is like just something that's going on, because I hate for them to start making Mark slow again.
Oh, I would too. I like this Sung Jinwoo, loyal to Kier, but not Lumen, I suppose. And that could be a deeper thought
Mm.
as well, because Kier, the leader, not necessarily the organization. That's a different dynamic. D, what about you? Any predictions for episode 3?
Just hoping, and it may be too soon, but I'm just ready to see more of Milchick out in these unsevered streets. I need to see and understand more about how his I don't know, his everything works outside of just the company, or even if we see more of how things work within the company, like what does that really look like outside of these moments of supervision and control and all of that. Like that's probably my biggest thing. And then also I want to know what's up with Bert. Like I need to know what's going on here. I hope we eventually see some aspect of what happened with the door and Bert and how that tied into then, oh, there's the Audi and I'm actively stalking them. I need to know more.
I think we're
Yeah,
going
we
to see a meeting between Milchick and Bert. I think I'll give it that. I think we're going to have that happen.
okay. I don't have any predictions per se just for the next episode. I mean, other than that, the Bert thing is really getting to me. I need a confrontation on the outside. I need them to come face to face and actually have a talk. I want to see at some point, I want to see someone's consciousness meet. Like I want the any to meet the Audi. Like I want to see like the melding or at least the convergence of the two consciousness between somebody. Just somebody give me that moment. I'm very
Mark,
curious. I don't care who it is at this point. Just give it to me from somebody. And I want to see, I think that they're taking an interesting turn with Dylan's arc. I'm really interested in him now. I'm really interested in why we got this mirrored version of himself. I'm interested to know, is there something beneath the surface? Like I think Tyra said he could possibly be a mole. I want to explore that more. I want to see Milchick come unglued a couple more times. First episode, I loved when he snatched that badge off Mark. I loved it. It gave me everything I need. He snatched it so fast. I loved it. I want to see him become unhinged. I want to see him go 2 more episodes without his screensaver changing. I can't wait for that.
I did too, actually, but they snatched it. I thought we were going to get that when he was like, I finally got this position, and we were going to have Harmony walking down the hallway, like, yeah, go back to that front desk, back to your position. I'm back. And then they snatched it. I was like, oh, we're not going to go that route. I was waiting for his bubble to be burst.
Oh gosh. But you guys, that was episode 2 of Severance. Bye, Mrs. Selvig, honey. Get out of there. D, let the people know what you've got going on in the next week or so. What's happening over there with D Movie Man?
Yes. So, hey everyone, this is D Movie Man, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And that is the general tagline of everything I do over on my channel. I love getting into film. I love discussing the occasional television show and delving deeper on occasion into trailer reactions and such. I've recently been doing recaps of The Traitors, which is a really enjoyable reality competition series on Peacock, so you can check that out. I also have been on a roll with the movie content. Did what is it? Better Man. Did Companion. I got to see that early. I'll be going to see One of Them Days, and then Hard Truths. So you can look forward to those as well. And just overall, there's more coming. I'm getting very close to 2K, and I'll be having things in place to celebrate that. So yeah, so all good things are coming along. I'm enjoying the journey, and I would love to have you along for said journey if you wouldn't mind joining. So definitely down.
Yes, girl. Go subscribe. Go right now over to D Movie Man. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you comment under this video, like the video, and check out some of his content. He's got really got some amazing content and being very innovative. I'm loving these vlog style reviews out of the theater moments. D, I think they're so good. Tyra over there at Struggle Reviews TV, honey. Let the people know what you got going on, girl.
Yeah. Um, be sure to join us if you are a member, and if you aren't and you want to become one, in literally 5 or so minutes for the Saturday movie night blockbuster watch along. We will be watching Pulp Fiction. Be sure to check for D's link is in the chat, y'all. Go support D and subscribe to his channel, please. We will definitely be getting into Mayfair Witches Monday. Child, I will be hosting Severance next time, which will be absolutely interesting.
Amen. Praise God.
Uh, that's gonna be interesting, and be checking for shows in our itinerary like Severance, Mayfair Witches, Married at First Sight, Harlem, and support us in all that we do. We would love to have you.
Yes, thanks so much, guys. Please make sure you're subscribed to everyone. Hit that notification bell and leave a comment. I'm actually going to leave you guys with our schedule. If you are a member, don't forget, like Tyra said, 9:15. We're watching Pulp Fiction. I've never seen this movie, y'all. I'm not a Quentin Tarantino stan or anything. So this is my first time watching. So just be thou ready, be thou prepared. It's going to be a time. But I'm going to leave you guys with our weekly TV guide. Have the most amazing rest of your night and weekend.